But I want to know how it is you voted for Donald Trump when you're so into facts, because his entire campaign is not based in facts. It was all based in propaganda and emotion.
I voted for Donald Trump for one reason only. His policies, if implemented, would slow the dispossession of whites in the United States. If he were to deport all illegal immigrants, if he were to think very hard about letting in any Muslims, all of this would slow the rate at which whites are becoming a minority.
Why are you so worried about the white dispossession of America?
Because I want my people to survive. Is that so strange? We don't control China. We don't control any place where whites are not a majority. And if we become a minority, we will not control our own destiny anymore.
First of all, white people come fucking first. Understand that. Then the fucking minorities come. Okay?
Oh, the minorities.
On that, yeah.
Oh, the minorities.
Yeah, the minorities.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're not a racist.
No, I'm not a fucking racist.
No, you're not a racist.
No, I'm not a fucking racist.
Who is white in America? This video is not alarming to me as someone from New York. This person is either from Long Island, Staten Island, or Brooklyn, and most likely Italian, Russian, Polish, from any one of those groups. That matters because up until the 1960s and 70s, Italians, Russians, Jews, Poles, Greeks, and any other European immigrant from Eastern or Southern Europe were not considered white in America. And in fact, here is a photo of the KKK marching in New Jersey for the arrival of the new ethnic whites, as they were considered. Here's a picture of the KKK in Long Island marching against the rise in the ethnic whites. So how did the ethnic whites get absorbed into whiteness? There's one answer: racism. The abridged version to this story goes something like, there was an increased white population that was coming into New York City and the surrounding areas through Ellis Island. These ethnic whites, considered because they weren't the Anglo-Saxon Protestants, they dispersed between New York, Philadelphia, Boston, Chicago, Detroit, and several cities. At that same time, though, the Great Migration was happening from the South, where millions of Black Americans were leaving the South, coming to the North. And when they were coming to the North, they were interacting with those same white people who had been there prior. So those Protestant Anglo-Saxons convinced the Poles, the Russians, the Jews, the Irish to become white to go against Black people. So much so, the Irish gangs in Chicago burned down a Polish neighborhood and then told the Poles that Black Americans did it. And the Poles were like, well, we're not white, so why would we fight with you? But over time, when the perceived power of whiteness took hold and the perceived threat of blackness taking over the city, these white people combined forces to be against Black people. So you have someone like this man in this video who was most likely Italian, whose grandparents most likely came through Ellis Island, and his grandparents came and they were not considered white, but by the time his mother was born and he was born, he was white. And with that new perceived whiteness and power came the chance to be racist. And if there's one thing we understand in this country, the lower position of power you have and you're white, your only perceived power is racism. You ask any New Yorker about Italians from Staten Island or white people on Long Island, even though we're one of the most democratic, progressive cities, there's still a lot of red. That's why, because these people, their whiteness is very new. It's no more than 2 or 3 generations that their whiteness is there. So they hold on to that whiteness. They have to be very protective of it because they were told stories about.
Yo, so we back in here for another edition of F-ya-Motha, and there's like several videos where I've confused or mixed up preface videos with this being one of them. Yeah, what he said, give or take. Yeah, white people haven't been considered white in this country that long. When I mean white people, I mean people like Italians, Greeks, Arabs, Egyptians, Iranians, Polish, Irish. Yeah, you motherfuckers before. Now he said that before until 1970. That's not necessarily true. Greek people, Polish people, wasn't that many Russian motherfuckers here even in the 70s. They didn't come here until the 80s. What else? Irish. They were all considered white after 1922. I want to say, give or take, between 1921 1923, they were classified as white. Wasn't no damn 70s. That might have been for Eastern Europeans, not necessarily Russians. You have people from Georgia, that area. I want to say Slovakia. Russians didn't get here until 1980, 81. And they'd already been classified as white. Even though if you ever meet a Russian or Serbian or Albanian or Ukrainian, they actually don't consider themselves white. I've heard a lot of white men or white Russians, actually, they don't really like Caucasian white men. They speak down on them. They think they're weak. They think they're effeminate, not strong. Like, these aren't my words. I was in Seattle. They got an area called Little Brighton Beach. It's over by Rainier Beach on the south end of Seattle. And if you go to the bars and drink, you will run into a bunch of Eastern Europeans, namely Russians. And they don't necessarily like the Caucasian white man. Yeah, but they didn't get here into the 80s. But everybody else, the Polish, the Irish, Jewish people, after 1921, they were classified as honorary white, along with the Egyptians in 1979 and the Iranians in 1980. And you just keep going, right? Even Hispanics after 1975 were classified as honorary white. That's why if you look on any application, it says white, Hispanic, white, non-Hispanic, because they classify Hispanics and or Latinos as white when they can pass. Even though you'll have motherfuckers browner than me checking on the application talking about white. You look at them like, Migo, Hector, you not white. Oh, see. Yeah, that's why they picking your ass up now. But this video was actually following a preface video. It's probably going to be two of these videos prefacing Jared Taylor, where he's talking about how the white man, this is the white man's country, and how the white man won't be dispossessed of it, when in actuality they will be, sir. We will effectively take this country, whether by force or just, you know what I'm saying, your offspring right here with Jamarquavius. Like, it's gonna happen, bro. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. Like, a lot of white people get it twisted when they think about diversity and they think about brown people dispossessing the country, and they always make these stupid ass arguments and or comments on Twitter talking about if black people control America, it'll be a third world nation. And that's not necessarily true. Just to name a few places that have running water, electricity, you got Nigeria, while not the whole country. They have Lagos, which is actually 3 times denser than the state of New York or city of New York. You have places like South Africa, pretty proficient, got running water, electricity, shit like that, internet. Ecuador, Peru, Chile, Central America, Mexico. What else? Hell, any Asian country, with the exception of maybe Cambodia, Laos, Vietnam, shit like that. But for the most part, a lot of brown and black nations have the same amenities that America has. You got a lot of people from other countries, from the diaspora, and people from South America coming here getting degrees. I've seen a plethora of Latino and or Hispanic people getting degrees, working proficient jobs, people on working for electric companies, water sewage companies. They're not Caucasian, bro. Not all of them. Just go to Texas. And the debacle in Texas, because of the cold weather and the lack of resources and or infrastructure, therefore the warded off, is the white man's problem. They even said on the NPR station the fact that we're not prepared for this kind of weather. Why the fuck you not, Mr. White Man? You got an electrical company talking about, well, there may be power outages for over 100,000 people. Why, bro? Why? And this wasn't rural parts of Texas. This is places like Houston, Dallas, Fort Worth. Yeah, like, what the fuck? But I digress. I just figured I'd do this video for shits and giggles because I seen the video of Jared Taylor first, and then I seen a subsequent video next. So I figure I'll run them concurrent or consecutively, chop them up, throw them up for y'all enjoyment. If you've been enlightened, entertained, or even educated in the least bit, that's what's up. Like my comment, or like, comment, and subscribe. And then If you'd like to support the machine, the link for my online merch store is in the description box. If you fuck with the show, leave comments, get you a shirt, some slippers, hoodie. It's cold out there, and I'm out.